Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. All agree that Ben Armstrong, once of Bitcoin crypto fame, has resorted to extortion in order to steal from others. Let me just state that this is noteworthy, and I will be writing about it. I feel obligated to cover this, as Ben Armstrong is undoubtedly the most popular and influential pro-XRP YouTuber worldwide. Also, Jeremy Hogan and David Schwartz are two of the most prominent figures in the XRP community. Now, I'm not going to inject much of my own bias into this discussion. But I feel like I'm not doing my duty as the host of this YouTube channel if I choose to avoid this topic just because of the difficulty involved in discussing content that may divide viewers. And it is, and I am in no way suggesting that Ben is breaking the law or not. I am simply reporting the facts as I see them. Even if I have strong opinions, I'm not confident enough in them to publicly express them. As long as it doesn't evolve into a harsh, offensive phase, I enjoy conversations in which both sides are able to express their opinions freely and openly without fear of repercussion. However, I won't be that way about this, because of a few factors. First of all, I don't claim to be an attorney. Since I am not a lawyer, I am willing to give the XRP community's legal experts their due respect. Therefore, I am not always willing to voice my personal opinion on matters pertaining to the SEC and related bodies. On the other hand, I would feel completely out of place making accusations against Ben Armstrong, a prominent member of the XRP community. I'm not going to do it because, as I stated to myself just before hitting record, I feel like I'm not doing my job if I don't report on this. However, I'm not at ease there, because I'm way over my head. And then separately, the fundamental story behind this, which involves Ben Armstrong basically being kicked out of his own organization. I don't have sufficient data to have a legitimate position on this. In light of what I've seen, I'll say that Ben Armstrong appears to have some fairly solid evidence, but that I haven't seen all. So even there, I can't claim to have a whole picture. However, he did share an hour and a half of recorded phone talks on YouTube the other day. And I only watched the first 5 minutes before I realized I was going to have to find time to finish it. He claims that the nearly hour-long film, when taken together with the phone calls, provides irrefutable proof of his claims, and many individuals find this to be the case. Therefore, I won't be taking a side on it either, at least not yet. But for the time being, this is all I have. It's good enough for a movie. Also, I find it really engaging and fascinating. Sure, people are going to take notice if you bring up David Schwartz, Jeremy Hogan, and Ben Armstrong in this setting. Okay, let's dive in right now. Since I don't want to get too deeply into the Ben Armstrong situation and the events surrounding his company, I'm going to presume that most of you are already aware of the broad strokes. Even though Armstrong owns a controlling stake in the business, he was virtually forced to leave. And thus, they seem to be doing rather well, but there may be an issue. Again, I don't have every piece of information. Therefore, I'm withholding judgment until I've had a chance to peruse the publicly available data on that front. But if this doesn't get sorted out quickly, it appears like there could be some pretty significant legal procedures. Therefore, Ben Armstrong would prefer to settle this out of court. The attorney Hogan ended up saying that the post, which was published by the defendant on social networking site X and which is currently displayed on your screen, is problematic in and of itself. And therefore the full text looks like this. Ben Armstrong wrote this and included a photo of his Lamborghini in his post. Now, by the way, his Lamborghini was probably registered under his Emerald, but it may have been under his business's name. The other owners stole the Lamborghini and, presumably, sold it when he was virtually thrown out of the firm. That's how I interpret it. And therefore, I've included an image of it here. He is lacking it. But, as Ben Armstrong put it, consider this. My Lamborghini's title is currently held hostage by the Georgia Department of Revenue. As proof, I've made a deal with TJ and Justin to drop all criminal charges in exchange for their resignation and departure this coming weekend. The police report for Monday. We have also verified our appointment with the FBI. Because I read this before witnessing what Attorney Hogan had to say, before witnessing what David Schwartz had to say, and before witnessing what David Schwartz had revealed, I will simply add the following at first reading. And before I saw that post on X, I had no idea that Ben had committed any wrongdoing. Understand that I am not a legal professional. The dilemma that arises as we progress through this video is, as you'll see, where exactly does one draw the line while negotiating a settlement to avoid litigation and blackmail? As a lawyer, I read this and thought, yeah, it looks like you're just trying to do something to wrap this thing up. Where exactly is the line that separates the two? But it seems like the minute you mention that you're an attorney, your perspective changes. Thus, Jeremy Hogan, an attorney, republished Ben Armstrong's piece and penned the following legal test. His attorney's mind must have been blown by whatever is written here. It's not the Greek-style brick canons either. A member of the local community who prefers to be known only as Potato Head retaliated by penning the following piece, according to one Jeremy Hogan. I have proposed a settlement to TJ and Justin to prevent further legal action. If they decide to resign and leave this coming weekend. To offer a bribe is not acceptable. That's the quote, this Potato Head guy says, isn't that bribery? That's the question he's posing to Hogan, a lawyer. David Schwartz disagrees with such assessment. David Schwartz's response summed up his thoughts in 3 words, extortion theft. So, therefore, my first reaction upon seeing that was, what? That's exactly what lawyer Hogan was thinking, too. This is Jeremy Hogan's genuine account of his exchange with David Schwartz. Right now, David Schwartz has 465,400 followers, which you may view. Of course, these 286,100 fans are for the genuine Jeremy Hogan. Bingo, wrote attorney Hogan in response to David Schwartz. This is a case of theft by extortion, as all sides agree on that point. They're making that claim, and that's why I asked the polar opposite question, what constitutes crossing the line when attempting to broker a settlement in order to avert illegal activity, as I believe Ben intended to do? What, exactly, separates that from extortion? From their point of view, he has clearly overstepped some sort of legal bounds here. David Schwartz then penned a pair of queries. Is it ever a good idea to publicly admit guilt for a crime? Second, is it wise to contact the FBI after making an online confession? So, I'll go back to the beginning and reread Reuben Armstrong's initial post. This, they claim, is why extortion is necessary. Someone we know wrote that the Georgia Department of Revenue is holding the title to their Lamborghini as proof. I have proposed a settlement to TJ and Justin to prevent further legal action. If they decide to resign and leave this coming weekend. Meeting with the FBI was confirmed by authorities on Monday. You may picture an arbitration where both parties say what they need to say to finally put this to rest. However, David Schwartz and Jeremy Hogan argue that it constitutes blackmail if you weren't expecting it. Plus, I'm not a lawyer. Like I stated, this is one of those videos where I won't be giving much of my own viewpoint, which is unusual for me. But I'm not sure I can bring myself to do this. Not only is this not a video meant to frame Ben, but denying its existence would make me feel strange. I don't think I'm giving my all at work. That rules out the possibility that Ben is the target of some sort of hit. Just telling it like it is. Ben can handle himself in any situation. Right. In addition, attorney Bill Morgan also said this. Here he retorted to attorney Hogan, it is a crime in Queensland to threaten a detriment, to which Hogan replied, same here. Then Jesse Hines, an attorney, said this. He answered to attorney Hogan, good old classic extortion. As someone who has been threatened with extortion in the crypto field previously, he said it was always a shame to witness it. Then, a member of the site going by the handle Big Ass or contacted attorney Hogan and asked whether or not this practice still constitutes extortion. If what he says is true, he's giving them a heads up that he has evidence and giving them an escape before facing legal repercussions. Again, I read that, and it seemed harmless, and that's probably how this person interpreted it, too. I assumed it was merely reporting the current situation. But again, I have no legal training, so I'm simply telling you what I thought at the time. So, let me ask again, from a legal standpoint, what is the distinction? There is obviously a distinction between extortion and brokering a bargain to avoid additional legal action, but I've seen the topic posed nonetheless. It would be technically damaging or threatening to them, I suppose, because there is an intention to say anything like, hey. Indeed, it does eventually arrive. They believe it meets the requirements. That, then, is the current state of affairs. Thus, the original message remains accessible. It's now the evening of the 23rd, and this thing has been up since the afternoon. So I came, and I read it for the first time soon after it occurred. And now, it's not even been a full 48 hours since it happened. At the time that I'm recording this, it's probably been closer to a day and a half. To this day, it has not fallen. So it seems that Ben doesn't see a problem here. And certainly, he has his own team of lawyers looking out for his interests as well. So, without a doubt, they anticipate guidance on appropriate public discourse and related matters. But we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. I mean, clearly, let's be real, everyone in the crypto sector is aware of this happening unless you've been living under a rock. There is universal agreement on this. This is currently one of the most widely read crypto articles. There is an abundance of writing on the subject. There is an abundance of writing on the topic available online. What it is remains to be seen. That's all I have to say about it once more. Usually, towards the end of the video, I'd elaborate on my feelings about the topic, but I'm simply not feeling it right now. No, I don't think strongly about anything. To put it bluntly, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to the law. In addition, I require additional proof. I'm not sure there's enough information out there to form a firm conclusion on what happened to Ben Armstrong and his business and network. But there seems to be a good bit in that video I referenced earlier, so I'm going to watch it. That and Ben's additional channels could be worth your time. Ben Armstrong has a new channel on YouTube, and you can discover him by searching his name. They rebranded the previous channel, which used to be called That Boy Crypto, but now has over 1.45 million viewers, as Discover Crypto. So I take it they're making an effort to distance themselves from the BitBoy image. However, I recommend that you read it anyhow. Just figure it out on your own, However, these are some of the most well-known people associated with XRP. Simply put, I need to keep my head down. I'll end my remarks now. No, I don't give out financial advice. Nothing I say should influence any transactions you make. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.